Hello sir, my name is Fariha Prin, currently studying in Department of Economics, University of Dhaka. So will you be interested in this short interview?
Very pleased, thank you.
Welcome sir. So my first question is, for creating another export house like R&D in sectors like tech or green energy or pharma, do you think state patronship is the way to go?
So we need support to build new industries, because it is actually very difficult to start up the first set of industries. One of the main constraints is that to build a globally competitive firm, you need to have a high degree of organizational capabilities. So an entrepreneur can buy the machines, the entrepreneur might even find people with the right skills, but actually to set up the firm which is globally competitive, you need to know how to set up the firm, how to set up your quality control, how to organize the fastest throughput, how to have your supply chains ready, how to have your inventory management. These are not things you learn in a book nor in an MBA. You have to actually see how a well-working factory is working in a country which already has a lot of competitive firms, and that company has to train you about what its business model is. If you see how our garments industry started, it started by people going from Bangladesh to South Korea and observing how a modern garments industry worked, and then adapting and reproducing those methods into the Bangladeshi context. This is a very expensive process, and so some amount of funding is required. But the problem is, you can easily give this funding in the wrong way. You can give a subsidy to the firm, and the firm will waste the subsidy. It will not know how to use the subsidy. So the method that often has worked in Bangladesh's garment industry, in India's automobile industry, is to find a partnership between a Bangladeshi firm that is about to invest, let's say, in components industry or in some kind of mechanical or electrical industry, connected to a firm, let's say in China or Turkey or South Korea, which is moving out of that sector, so it doesn't have a competitive interest. Maybe that firm has rising wages, it's moving out of the sector. And you tell that firm, you will help our firm, which will remain Bangladeshi owned. So we are not talking about joint ventures, or we are not talking about FDI. That firm in China or Korea or Turkey, their job will be to give this organizational knowledge to the Bangladeshi firm, so that the Bangladeshi firm can achieve global competitiveness. And if the Bangladeshi firm starts exporting, you then give a reward to the Korean firm of a large amount of money, but only after they have succeeded. So before they succeed, the Bangladeshi firm and the Korean or Chinese firm will be investing their own money. The return they will get is only after you succeed. That way, you avoid the rent capture and rent seeking and all the corruption problems, which is a big problem in Bangladesh.
Yes,
so I am against giving subsidies or low interest loans. We have tried these for SMEs, they don't work. We have to find a way of giving support for acquiring these organizational capabilities, and we also have to build the ecosystem for SMEs. We have to make sure that they get the power, the infrastructure, the road, the gas, whatever they need. All of this actually also requires to break the power of the old oligarchs, because if those people are powerful, you will not be able to make available all this ecosystem for new SME clusters. So we need those two things as support. We need to create a new political settlement, but it's a new distribution of power, where these middle sectors of society are more empowered, can demand resources like infrastructure and electricity and water and so on. This is a must, but they must also have some clever ways of acquiring organizational capabilities, the know-how of how to set up a firm. That has to come from more advanced countries, but not through the traditional industrial policy subsidy. That does not work in Bangladesh if that money is stolen. So if we can combine these things, I think we have a very bright future.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for your nice observation. Now my next question is, what one main reform would you advise right now to break Bangladesh cycle of system of oligarchy and build a more inclusive, growth-oriented system?
That's a very simple answer.
Yes, sir.
I think the oligarchs have become powerful because of their connections with the politicians and the bureaucracy. And they have used these political connections and administrative connections both ways. The politicians look for oligarchs, the oligarchs look for politicians, the bureaucrats serve them both. And they have become super rich, I mean, dollar billionaires, by basically looting your money and my money from banks, from the tax, and so on. The first thing we have to do is we have to identify 4 or 5 of the most egregious of these thieves. And we have to do proper investigative cases against them, identify how and where they have stolen the money in great detail, and through a proper legal process, we have to recover that money. The reason why this is important is it breaks this sense of impunity, that I can steal this money and I will get away with it because nothing can happen. This will not happen automatically, because for the very reason that the politicians of all parties, bureaucrats and the oligarchs have a mutual interest to protect each other. So if you tell the politicians, go and do this, they will not do it. The only way it will happen is if society churns out persistent pressure on the streets for this to happen. This is why I think July was such an important event for Bangladesh. It has mobilized people. We have to make sure that people don't go home, don't forget, and don't become depressed, and don't give up. Our job is just working. The point of this entire conference, this workshop, this global bringing in DAIRA into the front, is to show that the world is interested in Bangladesh, that our experiences are across countries. Many countries have had these things, but they get depressed. And the cost of getting depressed is that you lose that opportunity. We cannot lose this opportunity. We have to find the ways to network people, young people, old people, students, small shopkeepers, professionals, everyone who is concerned about the future of Bangladesh, not through a politics process, because that can be easily captured, but through our own networks and connections. We have to keep talking, we have to be able to come out on the streets, we have to vote strategically, we have to tell the parties that if you are unable to solve this problem, if you are unable to identify and prosecute these corrupt oligarchs, you yourself will fail, because you will not be able to deliver jobs, you will not be able to deliver education, you will not be able to deliver health. And your failure you will suffer for, and we will put pressure on you till you do this. If that happens, and I am very optimistic that the youth of Bangladesh, people like you, will keep on coming out on the streets and putting this pressure till we see action.
Hopefully so.
That is the way to crack up this oligarchy. Yes. And then we follow that up with very good competition law, we follow that up with very good checks and balances and horizontal checks in society. We have a lot of research about how that can happen, but what we now have in Bangladesh is the mobilized youth and the mobilized citizenry, and everyone now wants action against the oligarchs, action against the thieves. We must not give up and go home.
Hopefully, sir. Thank you so much for your amazing answers and for staying with us.